Find out how one organization in the Quad Cities is helping eradicate HIV one free test at a time. And the search is on for the shooter responsible for the death of a 15-year-old girl in Davenport.
WHBF is local for you. This is Local 4 News this morning.
Good morning and thanks for watching Local 4 News this morning. I'm Emily Scarlett. Today is a day to get the facts and get tested. It's National HIV Testing Day. The CDC estimates around 1.2 million people in the United States are living with the virus, and 1 in 8 don't know they have it. Local 4's Greta Patrick joins us now in our newsroom. Greta, how can people in our area get tested?
Well, good morning, Emily. You can always go to the doctor to get tested, and today the Project of the Quad Cities will be holding a free testing event. The organization is holding the event in the hopes that anyone and everyone will come out and find out their status. The test itself is very simple. It takes about 30 minutes from start to finish. You get your results at the end of that time. It's also completely anonymous. You can get the same test at any drugstore, but the Project of the Quad Cities director Wendy Kelly doesn't recommend going that route. At the Project of the Quad Cities, they have counselors and medical help on site, so it'll be easier to get to help if your test turns out positive. Kelly also says knowing your status is the first step to getting rid of the virus, since it's really the only way to stop HIV from spreading. Knowing your status can also dramatically decrease your chances of developing AIDS.
Getting tested is so important because if you don't get tested, you never know your status. Right now, since July 1 of last year, we've identified 8 new positives. There's more to be found. Many people don't know until they wind up in the hospital. We don't want to see anybody wind up in the hospital.
The Project of the Quad Cities event runs from 10 this morning till 4 this afternoon. It's at their new location at 1202 4th Avenue in Moline. For more information on today's event, just head over to our website, ourquadcities.com. Greta Patrick, Local 4 News this morning.
Thank you, Greta. Davenport police need your help finding the person who fatally shot a 15-year-old girl over the weekend. Ayanna Colbreth was shot around 12:30 Sunday morning on Warren Street. She was taken to Genesis East, where she later died from her injuries. Police say they found shell casings at the scene, and witnesses tell Local 4 News they heard more than one round of gunshots go off. You're asked to contact the Davenport Police Department if you have any information on the shooting. It's this kind of gun violence that had families filling the streets for the Run Against Violence at Vanderveer Park. Local 4's Krista Burris explains how organizers hope to change mindsets and put a stop to senseless attacks.
I thought it would be just a wonderful idea to get a lot of other community and families involved, so we did it.
Ebony Wilmington lost her brother, Dwight McCall Jr., to gun violence. Their mother, Lisa Nimmer, says he was just 23 and in welding school when he was shot and killed. They had the Run Against Violence this weekend because Dwight would have turned 27 on Monday.
It's kind of like they have no respect for life, and it needs to change and it needs to stop.
Most of the walkers have lost someone to gun violence, and they hope this walk helps prevent it from happening to someone else.
You know, all these senseless acts, it's hurting everyone. It's hurting the victims' families, not even only the families, it's hurting the aggressors.
Gun violence also took the life of Dwight's friend, Derek Jackson.
He was a tattoo artist. He had his own shop, very well known.
His mother, Susan Poe, says it's hard for their family, especially Derek's son, who doesn't understand why his dad is gone.
You go through every emotion possible, sadness, hate, and it's every day. You live it every day. You miss them so much.
Organizers say the run won't end gun violence overnight, but they hope it shows people that shooting someone doesn't fix anything. It just breaks hearts.
Communities need to start getting involved in standing in as one and fighting against violence and trying to make a difference. We can't make a difference if we don't do anything.
Coming together, sending a life-saving message, and remembering those who were lost. Krista Burris, Local 4 News.
Thanks, Krista. Davenport police were also at the Run Against Violence organizers plan to make this an annual event. They urge more people to take part next June. Today, Representative Dave Loebsack will host his 5th annual Serving Those Who Serve Town Hall. It's the first of several veteran town hall events the congressman will host leading up to the 4th of July holiday. The forums give veterans the chance to talk to Representative Loebsack and get help if they're having issues with the Veterans Administration or other federal agencies. The town hall takes place at 11:30 this morning at American Legion Post 26 in Davenport. All veterans and their families are welcome to attend. Secretary of State John Kerry travels to Brussels and London today. He'll meet with European and British leaders to discuss the United Kingdom's decision last week to leave the European Union. Over the weekend, Scotland's leader suggested that she will do whatever it takes to stay in the European Union, including withholding Scotland's consent to Britain leaving. World markets are bracing for another rocky day after suffering about $2 trillion in losses following the Brexit. Authorities in Sacramento are now investigating a string of violence at a neo-Nazi event Sunday. Several people were stabbed during a rally at the state capitol. The victims were spread out over the Capitol grounds, covering multiple blocks in the downtown area. Video shows people running and being chased by attackers with sticks. Members of the Traditionalist Workers' Party were protesting against globalization. The party has recently been profiled as a hate group. And more rain is forecast for parts of West Virginia, already ravaged by deadly floods. Heavy rain battered much of the state last week, leaving hundreds of homes damaged or destroyed. President Obama has signed a disaster declaration, making federal funding available to flood victims. Let's check in with meteorologist Anthony Peoples on this Monday morning. Of course, across the country, we've been hearing about two extremes. Some areas are just too dry, too hot. That's, of course, when you hear about the wildfires. In other areas, just getting too much rain. Even in our area, we've got some back and forth of being dry at some moments, then getting fast rain too quickly, causing flooding.
Yeah, last week we had that flash flooding, and even this weekend, Emily, we had over 1.5 inches of rain in Davenport yesterday morning, and we only had 1/10 of an inch in Moline. Right now you can see we have plenty of sunshine out there. 66 degrees right now, west-southwest winds at 3 miles per hour. Davenport at 65. Here's the mostly clear skies out there early this morning. We do have a little bit of patchy fog off to the south of us, but it's really not a big deal. Across northern Missouri, they do have some dense fog. It's going to be a very warm one today, another hot one as a matter of fact. Breezy conditions, winds approaching 25 miles per hour, and a high temperature making it up to 89 degrees. We do have a cold front that will be passing through the area. It will bring us cooler and less humid conditions, but the rain should stay up in Wisconsin, so we're really not expecting too much in the way of rainfall this week. However, we will be seeing some very pleasant temperatures.
All right, well, pleasant temperatures sound good, but how are we doing with rainfall? We have seen some bouts of showers, even storms. So are we where we should be, Anthony?
Well, for the Quad Cities officially, when I say officially, that means in Moline. That's where the official Quad City records are kept. Right now, we're running below average, about 1/3 of an inch. However, that's a little deceptive because, you know, yesterday morning, Davenport had about 1.5 inches of rain. And last week we had those flooding rains where some locations saw 4 and 5 inches. So some people have had a little bit too much, others definitely not enough. But overall for the year, we're still running well below average.
All right, thanks for that update, Anthony. Well, you can help to strike out hunger and enjoy some baseball at the same time. Our live guest has more after the break.
Stay with us at 6:08. You're watching Local 4 News this morning.
WHBF is local for you with Emily Scarlett and meteorologist Anthony Peoples. This is Local 4 News this morning in high definition.